Copy 724, right, descend and maintain 2000.
Descend and maintain 2074.
Comment 504, descend and maintain 3000.
3000, comment 504.
In this video, we're going to be covering Aeronautical Information Manual. We're going to start with some terminologies here. So, what type of aeronautical lighting is VASI? VASI. So, it stands for Visual Approach Slope Indicator. What it is like it tells you it's a system of lights, so arranged to provide visual descent guidance information during the approach to a runway. So the light is a 2-bar. Again, it's a 2-bar VASI. Can be as follows. So if we have a red over red, right? If it is 2-bar. So again, they come in different ways, but red over red is gonna mean, as you can guess, it's below the guide path, and red over white means you are like red over white. It means that you are on path or glide path, and if it is both of them are white over white, then that means that you are above glide path. This is the scary one. You are below the glide path. This is not good. You are above the glide path. This is the perfect one. Okay, then similar PAPI. What is it? So this is the precision approach path indicator. Precision approach path indicator. What it is like, again, uses the light unit similar to the VASI, but they are installed in a single row of either 2 or 4 light units. So these are the smaller airplanes would have airports would have these ones. So sometimes they will have 2 or 4 lights in one row, right? And again, if you have 4 white lights, for all of them are 4 white, that would definitely mean that you are very high, right? If you have 3 white and 1 red, that would mean you are slightly high. And if it is 2 white and 2 red, that would mean you are on glide path, perfect one. If you have 3 red and 1 white, that would mean that you are slightly low, right? And if it is all 4 all 4 red, that would mean that you are very low. Instead of very low, like it's gonna be low, basically it actually means you are at 2.5 degrees, where it is expecting you to be. Okay. What does the operation of an airport rotating beacon during the hours of day? So what is the, like, there is a rotating beacon. So normally, like actually all the like different kind of airspaces, airports like the Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo, they can have that, and the airport beacon can have that. So during the hours of daylight, it often indicates that the ground visibility is not VFR, it is less than 3 nautical miles, and or the ceiling is less than 1,000 feet. So if it is during the daylight, it is the rotating beacon is on, that means the weather conditions are not that favorable. Then we have what are the 6 types of signs installed at airports. So basically there are total number of 6 different signs. Like all the signs at the airport are categorized. They have been put into 6 different categories. So 6 types would be, and I'm gonna name them. One is the mandatory instruction sign. Then we have location sign. Then we have direction sign. Then we have destination sign. Then we have information sign, and then runway distance remaining sign. These are the 6 ones. So again, so the mandatory is gonna be normally red background, right, and a white inscription. It's gonna be on the written in the white. So the background is gonna be red, and the white inscription, it basically denotes an entrance to a runway, right, a critical area or a prohibited area. Then we have location sign. Basically it has the black background and yellow inscription, and this is like it does not have arrows and used to identify a taxiway or a runway location. Then we've got the direction sign. What that is like it has a yellow background and black inscription, and it will tell you the taxiway is leading out of an intersection. That kind of information is going to be in there. Then we have the destination sign. So in the destination sign, the yellow background and black inscription, and also contains arrows, and provides information on locating runways, terminals, cargo areas. Then we have the information sign. Information sign is going to be the yellow background and black inscription, and as the name suggests, it is used to provide the pilot with some information an area about an area and stuff like that. And the last one is gonna be the runway distance remaining sign. Runway distance remaining sign. Basically it has a black background and white numerical inscription, and it is indicating the distance remaining runway in thousands of feet. Then we've got the color of the runway markings. So, and also about the taxiway markings. So the markings for the runway are white. This one is white, right? Whereas the markings of taxiways, areas not intended for use by an aircraft, and holding positions, they are all yellow. Okay, what airport marking aids will be used to indicate the following? So if we have runway threshold marking, so these contain 2 configurations. They either consist of 8 longitudinal stripes of uniform dimensions disposed symmetrically about the runway center line, or the number of stripes is related to the runway width. A threshold marking helps identify the beginning of the runway available for landing. Also, we've got a couple of other to define. This was one. The other one is displaced threshold. Then we've got runway hold position markings. Then we have temporarily closed runways and taxiways. And then we have permanently closed ones. Yeah, these are the things he wants us to describe. So we did talk about the runway threshold markings, right? So displaced threshold are like it's a threshold located at a point on the runway other than the designated beginning of the runway. So if it is not the designated uh, beginning of the runway, that marking, that threshold located at the point on the runway would be called the displaced threshold. So basically it reduces the length of the runway available for the landing. Now the runway holding position markings, as the name suggests, like these are for the for taxiways. These markings indicate that airport is supposed to stop there and needs the clearance in order to enter into the runway. Then we have the temporarily closed runways and taxiways. These markings are they provide a visual indication that a runway is temporarily closed. Permanently closed, as the name suggests again, they are could be runways or the taxiways which are basically permanently closed. Okay, what are the different methods a pilot may use to determine the proper runway and traffic pattern in use at an airport without an operating control tower? So if we do not have the ATC available and we want to know what are the basic, what are the traffic patterns and the proper runway. So first thing is that there can be a Unicom station, right? And an advisory may be obtained, which will usually include the wind direction, the velocity, and everything like that. Then we have the automated weather radio check. Again, the Unicom system can provide that. So these are the automated ones instead of the any live ones. So we can have an automated system, right? Then so again, few other things I wanted to mention is like a lot of these kind of information can be you can get it from the sectional charts and the traffic pattern, whether it is the left side or the right side, or the number of the runways and like their directions. They can all you can all get it from the sectional charts. Okay, what is the standard direction of turns when approaching an uncontrolled airport for landing? Just remember, if it is an uncontrolled airspace, right? Sorry, uncontrolled airport, do not have any ATC. All turns must be made to the left, unless a traffic pattern indicator indicates that the turns should be made to the right. So if nothing is mentioned with the airport uh, airport description on the sectional chart, always remember that all turns should be left. And just remember, whenever you are the traffic pattern is right, there must be a reason for that. Normally the reasons are maybe there is a border on the left side, so it's gonna be a right one. Sometimes there are mountains on the left side, that's why they don't wanna take you a left turn, so you will be taking a right turn for that. Okay, what is considered standard for traffic pattern altitude? So unless otherwise established, so the standard for the traffic pattern altitude is 1000 feet AGL and the recommended traffic pattern altitude. So, and you will be surprised to know that this is not just for the single engine planes. Even the Boeing 737 or any multi-engine jet planes, all of them, they the traffic pattern is the same. Like in terms of altitude, all the turns are gonna be at that recommended altitude. Okay, then what recommended entry and departure procedures should be used at airports without an operating control tower? So if you do not have the ATC, a pilot should plan to enter the traffic pattern in level flight. Always remember that. Um, like you should not be entering the traffic pattern in a uh, where your altitude is not settled, and it should be a level flight. Okay, and when departing a traffic pattern, continue straight out or exit with a 45-degree turn, right? And then yeah, these are the recommended ones. Then so if you are in doubt, like what should be the altitude, pattern altitude, like if there is a traffic pattern and you are in doubt that what should be the altitude for that, uh, what publication you can actually use in order to be sure about that? So it's called the Chart Supplement US. Supplement US. A couple of more terms I wanted to cover here. One is the ARTCC. So what is it and what useful service can it provide to the VFR flights? It stands for the for Air Route Traffic Control Center. Air Route Traffic Control Center. It's a facility established to provide air traffic control service primarily to aircraft operating on IFR flight plans within the controlled airspace. So as the name suggests, they are for the traffic control center, and they're gonna give you the separation. They have the radar services. They can actually detect and display an aircraft's position, uh, like while en route between the terminal areas. Okay, now we wanted to just talk about some of the basic transponder codes. So if you have been flying for some time, you would see that what would happen is like the ATC is gonna call you out, and then it's gonna say squawk this, which means that it is asking you to set your transponder code to something. But these are the ones uh, which are generic and they have some meaning in it. So 1200 is when you want to go to the VFR. So you're going to be squawking the code 1200 VFR. So that basically means if you are flying VFR, you're not in communication with the ADC, you will your transponder code is going to be 1200. If you have been hijacked, you will squawk the code 7500. If you have communication failures, you will squawk the code 7600. If you are in emergency, you will squawk the code 7700. Other than that, ADC is going to tell you what code you should use. Okay, when conducting flight operations into an airport with an operating control tower, what should initial contact when should initial contact be established? So when operating an airport at an airport where the traffic control is being exercised by the control tower, pilots are required to maintain two-way communication, as we did talk about it in class Bravo, Charlie, and Delta airspace, right? So the initial call should be made about 15 miles 15 miles from the airport, and this is a generic one, right? That you should remember that 15 miles is the time when you should actually should make the communication with the ADC. Okay, what communication procedures are recommended when departing a class Delta airspace? So if you are departing the class Delta airspace, right? So again, unless there is a good reason to leave the tower frequency before exiting any of the class Bravo, Charlie, or Delta airspace, it is a good operating practice to remain on the tower frequency for the purpose of receiving traffic information. So for as much as unless there is a good reason you are leaving the Delta airspace, and maybe you want to do the maneuvers or anything, other than that you should stay on that frequency for as much as possible in the with the ATC. Okay, how do you convert from the standard time to coordinated universal time? So again, I'm gonna be writing it down. So when you are trying to change the like, if you have a standard, like if you have a time zone and you want to know what is the UTC, because most of the times are in the UTC. So if you are in the Eastern time zone, is gonna be, you will be adding 5 hours, and it's gonna keep going on. For the Central, you will be adding 6. For the Mountain, you will be adding 7 hours. For Pacific, you will be adding 8 hours. For Alaska time zone, you will be adding 9 hours, and for Hawaii time zones, you will be adding 10 hours. And again, if it is a daylight saving, then you would be subtracting 1 hour from the above. So if it is a daylight saving going on, it's going to become 4 for Eastern, 5 for Central, 6 for Mountain, 7 for Pacific, 8 for Alaska, and 9 for Hawaii. Okay, arrange the radio facilities listed below in the order they would be used when operating into or out of the tower. So basically, we want to talk about that. If we like, what is the different facilities you're going to be talking to in what sequence, right? So the first thing you want to be talking to is the arriving aircraft. Would be, so again, there are going to be two scenarios. One is if you are entering into the airport, right? You are arriving, right? The arriving, here's the one. You will entering into an airport, right? So first thing is that you will hear the ATIS, get the weather information, everything. Then the second one would be approach. You will contact approach. Then approach is going to transfer you to the tower, control tower, right? Then it will be ground. Once you landed, the control tower is going to hand you over to the ground. If you are leaving the airport, right, if you are departing, you will start with the clearance delivery. Again, depending on the aircraft, some has it, some just you just directly contact to the ground. But if they have the clearance delivery, you are going to be contacting them, then the ground, then the control tower, then the departure control. Okay, what are NOTAMs? And we briefly touched about that. These are the notices to the airmen. They are time critical aeronautical information of either a temporary nature or not known sufficiently in advance to permit publication or aeronautical charts. So the NOTAMs they are basically the notifications to the airmen. Examples could be you would if you are flying in the New York City area, there are a lot of NOTAMs being published, and a lot of the metropolitan cities, they have a lot of NOTAMs going on, basically telling you if any VIP has been visiting the town, and they put the flight restrictions over there. So these are the notifications to the airmen. Okay, so now we want to talk about the categories of the NOTAMs. Basically, it has 5 different categories. Like, uh, so they are the basic NOTAMs, right? Then we have FDC. Then we have pointer. Then we've got SAA. And then we have the military. Okay, so the NOTAMs, as we talked about, these are the notifications, right? The FTC are the flight information regulatory in nature, including but not limited to changes to IFR charts. The pointer ones, uh, they are issued by a flight service station to highlight or point out another NOTAM. So basically, they may be pointing to the FDC NOTAMs or directly to the NOTAMs. So these are the pointer NOTAMs that you should check out the other NOTAMs. SAA, they are issued by the Special Activity Airspace. Uh, yeah, so these are the Special Activity Airspace. And the military NOTAMs, they pertain any US Air Force or Army or Marine uh, stuff. They are being issued by them or anything related to them. And the last thing I wanted to cover in this video was like, so all NOTAMs will have a keyword contained within first part of the text. So if I'm just gonna write some of them down here. So what are gonna be the examples of the NOTAMs? So you can find these specific keywords before all these NOTAMs: RWI, TWI, ramp, APRON, AD, OBST, nav, com, SVC, airspace, unverified, and other. Normally unverified are depicted with U and other is depicted with O. Those were the things I wanted to cover in this video. Thanks for watching.